Hey, what is up guys? Guitar here, welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. Alright, today we're gonna have a look at what's to come in approximately, is it like 1 day or 2 days? So we're gonna have all the 1.4 features, functions coming soon. There are some bug fixes, we're gonna talk about that shortly after. And we're gonna talk about the Venti banner. Whew! Oh wait, is the banner still going on today? Oh, it's like the last 16 hours to put for Hu Tao. I would just save whatever I have for Rosaria. Alright, hopefully I'll be able to obtain it. Okay, so let's have a look. For 7 days during the event, for the first couple of days when the 1.4 update goes live, you have a chance to obtain 300 Primal Gems and other rewards. Hero Suite times 3, new recipe, okay, exotic gourmet, 100 Primal Gems here, 50,000 Mora on the 4th day, Hero Suite times 5, another new recipe, golden fried chicken. Yo, these are the exclusive KFC collab recipe, I think. So make sure you guys obtain this. I think if you miss this, you might not be able to get them ever. I mean, like until the collab comes back, I think, which kind of sucks, but there's 300 Primal Gems right there. So I do think that's almost equivalent of 2 pools, 2 single pools. So hopefully you guys, make sure you guys lock it every day and try and obtain it. Alright, let's talk about the Venti banner. So Ballad in Goblets, boosted already for Windborn, Bard, Venti, Animal. Okay, this banner surprises me a little bit because you know, Sucrose is there as well. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Venti and Sucrose on the same banner. Like, you know, Sucrose is always like a 4-star version of Venti, and of course Venti is like the superior one. But ideally, to see that Noelle is here as well, it surprises me. And of course there's Razor. Wait, when was the last time Razor was in a banner? I think that was during like Zhongli banner. That is a while back, I think. I could be wrong, but I think that was like during Zhongli's banner, which is like 4 months back, I think. Or 3 months back. Anyways, is this banner worth pulling for? A lot of players are looking forward to Rosaria. Rosaria is going to be the new hype 4-star. She's a cryo pole arm user, and I'm sure pulling for Rosaria is going to be most players' main objective. Now, this banner is not too bad if you're looking to get Razor's Constellation, but again, it can be quite difficult because you might have a chance to get Sucrose or Noelle. Now, nothing against those two. In my opinion, like Noelle and Sucrose, they are equally strong as well, and I would say this is a very good banner overall. Like, even if you don't get Venti, right? Like, here's the thing, if you don't care about Rosaria, you don't care about what's to come in the next banner, then pull for this banner. I doubt the next banner would be able to beat out this banner because we only know Rosaria, but the 2 others I don't know, we're gonna wait and see, right? This is just a very beginner friendly banner. Most players would have a Noelle already, right? If you pull for the beginner's wish, and then you might be able to get constellations for her. Razor again is a very budget friendly and like beginner friendly kind of unit. So if you are looking to build your Razor for constellations, etc, I would say this one is a good one. Sucrose, very good. As always, like getting C1 of her is, in my opinion, I would say kind of important. It unlocks her true potential, alright? I'm not saying that she's bad at C0. You sort of can like counteract that by using the, what is it called? Sacrificial Codex? I think that's what it's called. Sacrificial Fragments, yeah. So, but still, having C1, having the extra charge is just something that you want to take into consideration. So let's go over the 4-star constellations real quick, then we're going to talk about Venti. I'm going to give you guys my reason why I'm going to skip Venti. And hopefully, you know, maybe you guys can decide from there if my reason correlates with yours, and it's going to give you a better idea overall, understanding how, you know, how gacha games work, etc, things of whatnot. So let's jump into character. We're going to talk about Razor first. The Shota boy. I've been using him for ore farming. Very good. Look at this. He gets his head pat by that giant muscular wolf spirit thing. Constellation. What do you get? Oh, I have Razor's first constellation. Okay, so C1. Picking up an elemental orb or particle increases Razor's damage by 10%, which is a lot. Now during battle, this is going to activate almost all the time because you're going to be able to constantly get energy particles. You spam your skill, you spam your E, spam your Q, get a particle, increase your Razor's damage by 10%. Now I do like this a lot. This is not attack by 10%, so it's damage by 10%, which is, if I'm not mistaken, it will be calculated at the end. So therefore, this is much more beneficial and much more influential. 10% damage is just huge. Alright, and then at C2, increases crit rate against opponents with less than 30% HP by 10%. Now this is not that good in my opinion. C2 Razor is like like it's not consistent enough for you to be able to utilize this most of the time, right? Because it's like only opponents with less than 30% HP. Now if this is like increased crit rate against opponents with more than 30% HP by 10%, now this is insane. But since this is like less than 30% HP, like by that point the enemies are gonna die already. But of course if you are using Razor as your main DPS in Spiral Abyss, this 10% crit rate might be a thing that you want to look into. Getting that consistent crit is going to be much better overall. Alright, C3, alright, usual stuff will increase skill by 3 level, and then C4, when casting Claw and Thunder, when you press, opponent's hit will have their defense decreased by 15% for 7 seconds. Now this scales very well with Razor's own kit or his own skill. Ideally when you build Razor, you want to be building him towards the physical route, and therefore having the enemy's defense decreased by 15%, that's going to help boost more of your physical damage, right? Now C5 going to increase Claw and Thunder by 3, and C6 every 10 seconds, Razor's sword charges up, causing the next normal attack to release lightning that deals 100% of Razor's attack as electro damage. Alright, and then when Razor is not using Lightning Fang, a lightning strike on an opponent will grant Razor an electro sigil for Claw and Thunder. Now this is insane, but like in my opinion, I feel like C1 Razor is a good stopping point. Like going C2 is not super necessary. C4 is good, don't get me wrong, right? But I feel like you're better off using a cryo character. Like for example, if you are at C1 right now, let's say you have a Razor C1, you're better off waiting for the next banner, pull for Rosaria, then use them together so you get super conduct. I think that's going to be much better comparing to having to risk trying to pull C4 for Razor. Now this is pretty good, like I mentioned. If you're not going to pull for Venti, if you're just here specifically for Razor, to get him to C4 might be a risky one. Alright, so let's jump into Sucrose. Now I personally have a C6 Sucrose, but I have decided not to C6 her for testing reasons for the time being. I would say her C1 is really good, giving her E skill, elemental skill and extra charge. This is something that I would highly recommend players to try to get. Now C2 might not be super necessary. These 2 seconds you are probably not going to actually be able to observe it, especially if your Sucrose has like the energy recharge kind of build where you can spam your ultimate often enough. You won't be able to notice this. You won't have that need of having this extra 2 seconds. Like it's a nice thing to have, but C1 is ideally way better. Alright, once you go to C4, every 7 normal and charged attacks, Sucrose will reduce the cooldown of a stable NMR hypothesis creation by 1 to 7 seconds. Now this is like random between 1 to 7 seconds. I don't think this is that good in my opinion because this requires your Sucrose to be on the field. Ideally when you use your elemental skill or elemental burst, you want to swap her out to your main DPS and start doing damage, or else you'll be wasting time, especially in Spiral Abyss where every second you waste is important. I don't think like getting the extra reduction in your cooldown of your elemental skill for 1 to 7 seconds outweighs the amount of damage that you might be able to do with your main DPS. Like this depends on how strong your main DPS is, but if you have like a Xiao, you're losing so much potential where your Xiao can do so much more. And C6 is of course insanely broken, just like on any other character. This will basically increase 20% elemental bonus damage bonus for the corresponding absorb element during its duration. Now I would love to test this out in the future and see like this 20%, what kind of increase will I get. I'm still, been busy lately, so hopefully I'll get that video out as soon as I can. Lastly, we'll move on to Noelle. Again, I have been working on my Noelle. I'm slowly building on mine. I think her C1 is pretty awesome. Getting this is going to increase your healing activating chance to 100% as opposed to 50% or something. The thing is though, her talents can be quite complicated, right? Because when you look at this, the healing triggering chance is 57%, so it's not 100%. The thing that a lot of players might not understand this skill, you need to be in sweeping time and breastplate both in effect. So both your elemental skill and elemental burst needs to be in effect for you to be able to get the 100% healing. But I think, you know, when you swap her in, she's gonna use her E and Q. Just let her heal for a bit. C2, decrease stamina consumption of Noel's charge attacks. I don't personally use the charge attacks. Maybe this is more useful for main DPS Noel, so I have no idea. But for support Noel, I think most of the time you're just gonna swap her, use EQ, and then just... But yeah, if you guys are Noel main, let me know. Like, is charge attacks way better than the normal attacks? And especially if you're using Gladiator, right? I think normal attack is gonna boost your damage. You can't... Yeah, you only increase normal attack damage by 35%. Alright, so C4, when Breastplate's duration, which is your shield, you know, El's shield, expires or destroyed by damage, it will deal 400% attack of geo damage to its surrounding opponents. This is pretty broken, but I'm not sure like the interaction of this entirely, because when you use Noel, right, you want your shield to protect your main DPS. You don't really use this for damage, and I think that serves enough purpose. Having something like this is just an extra, but most of the time I don't think it's that needed. C6, of course, for Noel is insane. Alright, so increases Noel's attack by an additional 50% of her defense when she uses her ultimate. Now this is crazy. This is just going to boost her effectiveness as like a tank DPS, like or a bruiser, right? That's what they call it, because you will have so much scaling of your defense. Like, this is going to change how you should be building Noel. Alright, so, and of course, every opponent defeated during the skill's duration adds 1 second to the duration up to 10 seconds. So overall, Noel is worth to go to C6, of course, but if you are using her more for a support, I think C1 is good enough. Most of the time, C1 is good enough. Same for Sucrose, C1 I think is good enough. Same for Razor. Now, let's talk a little bit about Venti and why I will be skipping Venti. The thing is, Venti is strong, don't get me wrong. I think Venti is still probably one of the best 5-star, and now with power creep starting to slowly ramp up, with Zhongli getting rework, and then there's Hu Tao, and then there's Xiao, Ganyu. Like, those units deal insane damage for sure. But Zhongli and Venti is on a different league on their own, in my opinion, because they have a much more supportive role. But from what I gather, Venti can do insane amount of damage as well, right? The thing is, most players, they don't build up their Venti enough to know how much damage he actually does. Like, let's be honest, most people use Venti, they just slap very decent on him, right? And then that's about it. They just use whatever set that they have. But from what I gather, Venti's damage might actually be in like the top 5 for most 5-stars. So that's something to watch out for. You can actually, you know, if you're willing to put the investment, like level up talents and everything, Venti does a lot of damage. Now, why am I skipping Venti considering that he's that good? Now, there's two main reasons. Number one, I prefer to get Rosaria and Charl, because that's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm getting 2 new characters as opposed to right here, there's only Venti for me. And number two, as much as I think he's really cool, he's really strong, I don't need him because I was able to clear the last 2 seasons of the Spiral Abyss up to floor 12 with all 36 stars. Now, if you are a player who struggles specifically in the Spiral Abyss, which is right now the hardest content in the game, so obviously, like if you're stuck in floor 11, if you're stuck in floor 12, maybe Venti is not that useful in floor 12, but I would say floor 11, like either 11-1, 11-2 or 11-3, having Venti is going to be so helpful. Alright, so that's something that you want to keep in mind. Again, now this is how my perceptive works for most gacha games. When you pull for characters, it's ideally, there has to be a couple of reasons. Now, most people, they play for waifu, for example. You want to pull for your favorite waifu, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But Venti is not a waifu, so therefore, if I were to pull for Venti, it's more of, do I need him? Like in the current hardest content of the game right now, right? So in Spiral Abyss, I've already cleared all the floors 2 months in a row, so I've never had a need to use Venti. Like floor 11, I managed to get it through with Xiao, Ganyu, ETC, Sucrose, Diona, and a few others. But again, yeah, Venti is gonna make your life a lot easier. Now, if I am still stuck in floor 11, for example, right? If I'm stuck at floor 11-2, I'm stuck at floor 11-3, I would definitely consider getting Venti. So you have to ask yourself this: if you want to pull for Venti, do you need him? That's the very important question. Like most players, you know, they just hear, oh, Venti is very strong. Like that is why I stopped on Hu Tao, right? Because right now, I could still pull for Hu Tao if I want to. I have 3000 Primal Gems right here. I could still risk it. But at the end of the day, pulling for Hu Tao, and I got Chi Chi actually in that video, it made me realize, why do I want Hu Tao? Like, I feel like I'm surrounded by this hype of everyone wanting her, to the point that I'm like, oh, Hu Tao, oh my god, I'm so hyped, let's go, I'm gonna get my own Hu Tao. And then I realized, I actually don't need her. Like, why do I need her for? Now, don't get me wrong, of course, she's a waifu material and all, but at the end of the day, I think for me, right now, it's better to save for Rosaria overall. And getting Chal might be, you know, might be more beneficial, having a Hydro character in my team finally. You know, I'm sick of Barbara, I'm sick of Xingqiu, alright? Like, seriously, the developers need to restart releasing more Hydro characters. Barbara, Xingqiu, and then there's like Mona and Chal, which, you know, come on. Like, if you are free to play, these two are pretty much out of reach most of the time. But hopefully I can get Chal. Like, that's just all I'm hoping for. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Venti banner. Let me know if you guys are going to pull for Venti, or if you guys intend to skip him entirely to go for Rosaria. Alright, and of course we're going to have the Hangout Events Series 1. Okay, this is the... it's sort of like a dating kind of thing, where you can hang out with Barbara, Noelle, Chongyun, and Bennett. And, oh my god, look at this. We have new weapon banner as well. What's featured right here? Allergy for the End. This is the new 5-star bow. I have no idea who is this for. And we have a couple of new weapons as well. The Alley Flash, Wine and Song, Favonius Greatsword, Favonius Warbow, Dragon's Bane again. Wait, isn't like Dragon's Bane featured recently? They did say that of the above weapons, the event exclusive weapons will not be available in the Standard Wish Wanderlust Invocation. So yeah, we have like, this is similar to the Lithic weapons. So if you guys did not pull for the Lithic weapons, this is going to be similar. So if you want constellations, you sort of have to get them like right here, right now. Once the, you know, the banner ends, they will not appear. These weapons, at least these two, right? The Alley Flash and Wine and Song will not appear in the standard banner. So that's something that you guys have to take into consideration. Alright guys, so as always, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, give this video a like. Let me know if you guys are pulling for Venti banner, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.